Necessarily had any passing, but there was another girl from here that was aware of.
Hey, Billy Wayne.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Won't be long now.
Yeah, I'm down here in Sarasota, Florida at the Pierce factory, and all these folks are Miami and all that type. So I've been ragging them a little bit.
Down there not too far from my grandson.
Where's he at?
Palm Beach.
I got a buddy that actually lives in West Palm that
Is that
I hunts
right?
with. Mm-hmm.
I think the college is actually in Lake Worth, but it's Palm Beach State College. He's down there playing baseball, and I hope he'll go to class. I think maybe.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you come put the dog before you eat?
Wait. Come on. Come on. Come on. You want to wait? Put her up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I need to start this off by convening a special session to deal with an item real quick. Something we had already discussed. So at this point, if Al, if you want to do any invocations.
Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the hint of fall in the year. We ask for your blessings upon these families affected by this resistance. We ask you now to be with us as we do the business and do it in the manner that you would have us do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There were two items on the agenda. One is the approval of the contract with Sirius Systems, and the other was approval for expenditures for mayor expenditures up to $1,500. Item B, I wish to table till we get an opportunity to go back and make sure I'm in compliance with all the regulations provided by legal municipalities. Item A is something that was discussed in the last work session of the council meeting, and it has to do with a quote from Sirius Systems to provide fiber optic internet services to City Hall and the police department. We had agreed that we would pursue this, but we did not do a vote on it in the council meeting. So, unless anybody has any questions, I would seek a motion to approve the, quote provided by Sirius Systems for internet service to the Monroeville City Hall and Monroeville Police Department. Total amount was actually for Monroeville City Hall was $780 a month, and the amount for the Monroeville Police Department was $539 a month. So we actually saved a little money on this one.
Is anybody else using that service here in Monroe?
Well, Sirius,
You have experience with.
yeah, is actually Sirius is just going to be the one that provides it to Unity Fiber. Unity Fiber is actually going to be running the line.
And fire department, public works, community house, are they under a different agreement or?
At this point, the main reason for trying to get the police department and City Hall home is because, if y'all recall, we had a discussion about the servers and the age that's getting on and being able to upload and back them up to the Amazon Web Service Cloud. And this would enable us to do that.
So there's other agencies to be in the frontier.
At this point.
There's not a need for them to have it at this time. You're
right.
dealing with other issues while we're on the video.
Right, not at this time. Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the quote for Sirius Systems for internet connectivity to Monroeville City Hall and Police Department?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. That being done, do I have a motion to adjourn the special session?
I make a motion to adjourn the special session of Monroe City Council.
Okay.
One point of discussion on that, we had briefly discussed some proclamation for saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do have a proclamation. I had given it out to the other members. And, once I obtain the signatures on here, if everybody's in agreement, I'll take it down on Friday and present it to them. Here you go.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
In the tree committee meeting, we had a discussion about, donating a large tree, possibly planting in front of Allen Park. And the tree committee voted to do that, and the city council will say it's good. We'll try to get it, we'll find a flat. It's a pretty good size lot.
Okay.
All right, you guys sitting there.
on this one here, we need to change the district's wrong. This is not 4, 2, 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Okay, let me get me. Right. Okay, we'll figure out how to get that to you. We get Melvin to sign, yeah. Okay. That's the next work session of the council will, once you get the authority from Alabama Power, about 3, we'll take that up.
These are vote on. Meeting. We did first, and second reading.
Oh, okay, all right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Okay, at this point, we're going to work session. We have Mr. Scott here to talk about the American Relief Act programs.
And you want me to stand, right?
Yes, and you'll be to the other members there.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be. Thank you for the opportunity to be before the city council and before the department heads to get a chance to talk to you about the American Rescue Plan funds. I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit because I'm a little hard to breathe. But I was gonna say that it's always a pleasure to be here in the city of Monroeville and wanted to get a chance to talk to you about the American Rescue Plan, to discuss what options you have that you can be able to do and what those things actually, how they flow together towards the development of the city, but also help you with developing and getting ready for the infrastructure funds that's coming, because that's gonna help a lot with your roads, your bridges, other things that actually water, sewage, storm water runoff, covers, different things, and also job creation. So we've actually asked you to do a need assessment. And what we asked everybody to actually come in and do a need assessment, which you could do virtually or do a paper copy. And we have 12 people who've actually did the need assessment, and we're gonna cover that shortly. But what I first wanted to do was to give an opportunity, and I wanted to give you something. I know a lot of times you have a lot of paper anyway. So I wanted to give you something that was short, simple, to the point that you can be able to take and fold in your pocket or either put it in your bag or something. And this is actually 2 pages, and wanted to make sure we gave you a heavy enough paper so you don't have to worry about it tearing or messing up or something, because I love quality paper sets the standards for what you're trying to do. And I think that this is something that's so major that, you know, when we look at this years from now, it's going to have a dramatic effect on our communities. As you'll see that it was a total of the American Rescue Plan will deliver $350 billion for state, local territories, and tribal governments to respond to the COVID-19 emergency and bring back jobs. So looking at that, that's a lot. That means that everybody got money. This is the first time, I think, in history, and if I'm wrong, I know if it's, you know, some people that may be a few years older than me, you can actually tell, but I think this is the first time in history at the exact same time, everybody, every municipality, every county received funding based on your population to be able to help your community. And so if you're actually looking here, and I want to have a way, I'm actually going through this after we finish each section, it'll be where I'm available for questions, because I want to make sure that you actually get a chance to think about this, really look at this hard, because this money is a opportunity for you to do some much needed things, and it gives you a wider scope. So if you actually see at the top where it says example uses of funds, and I know everybody who's actually seeing on Zoom, we'll make sure that the mayor has a copy and a digital copy that we can be able to share with you so you can.
I think Frontier got them.
Something froze them up.
Hey, Amanda,
Yes, sir.
oh, that document that he just handed out, could we get that email to us?
Yeah, I'll let Tamika know. I have to be at home. My son's class got quarantined, so
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
at the house.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
will, let her know I didn't see her on here.
Okay.
Pass out hot dogs, hamburgers, give away other souvenirs or things that maybe educate them about that the city cares and the community, when working together, we can move forward. Next thing is that you can be able to look at behavior healthcare. Now, a lot of people may not want to admit it, and a lot of times you may have a lot of people who don't want to go to your mental health building because there's kind of a stigma along with it. But sometimes we all need somebody to talk to. And during this COVID, a lot of times we've been strong in the face of kids, in the face of a lot of people that we had to stay strong, had to stay encouraged, had to stay positive. So this is an opportunity where you can be able to actually pull in counselors to help. You can pull in counselors, have counselors coming here to the town, or counselors working in partnership with your churches. You get your faith-based leaders to do more counseling, or do peer groups, or do things on social media, not necessarily in person. These funds can be used towards the costs associated with doing different things of that nature. So you may have some people, and I know as you look at your family, you may look at some people who used to drink a little bit. Now because of COVID, they were sitting at home, they drink a lot. Some people who used to use a little bit of, illegal substances, now they use it a lot. And then that causes a lot of problems within families, because we all have problems in our family. And don't need us sitting up there acting like we don't. So we look at that. We have family members that we've seen them change. We've noticed the change. If you haven't, when you go home, you're gonna think about it. Our kids, we noticed the change. They couldn't have graduation. They couldn't do the things that they wanted to do that everybody else did. So everybody's been affected, but this could be an opportunity to bring in counselors and keep it private, where that you can be able to get counseling, talk about it, talk through it, and be able to agree. Some people have not agreed. I've lost family, I've lost friends last year, and every day I worry about my mom. She's 80 years old. So it's a fear that everybody worries about, and we got to make sure we helping each other get through it. Because, when we down here, I love being from Alabama because we care about each other. We always encourage each other. That's one thing I saw here as far as in our communities, me being in the military. When we work as a team, we care about each other. We lift each other up. That's how we get through things. Then also looking at next, under that same category, it covers payroll. So if you have your law enforcement, a lot of times you get to pay extra overtime, extra responsibility on your police department, your fire department. Do y'all have paid EMS? I can't remember. You don't have, okay. So the fire department, and I know the fire department responds to EMS type calls to be able to help. And then also with the police department, the city can be able to recoup some of those fees or those service fees or those salaries back to your general fund. Because I know you had to do a lot. So it can be a way of pulling funds from these funds to help support your general fund and bring some of the funds back because you've been supporting your first responders. So that's the thing that you can be able to do. And we're going to talk about a few other things that I know you're going to like and get on in there. Any questions so far on that section?
You talked there about behavioral science.
Yes, sir.
And healthcare assessment. I guess we'll be able to if we have people that said that they actually enhance and keep. We would need to come up with a way for them to discreetly acknowledge that. And with the mental health services here, I'm not sure which one they call them, but Southwest here, right? I'm quite sure there would be some charge for to send out employees there, so that could be covered up on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it could. And that way you can make it available. If somebody wants it, they can, have that way to be covered. Any other questions on that section? And then also on that section, is that also on there. Also on that section, so that they give a long list of stuff. You can do vaccination programs, medical expenses as relates to that, those healthcare things that's necessary for counseling, different things of that nature, testing, contact tracing, isolation, quarantine. Let's say some things maybe have to do with, the police problem. Not sure where you may be. Do y'all have a jail cell? Y'all hold somebody at your initial department? If say about some things that may be necessary to help with quarantine, or doing some things, you can also look at that. PPE supplies, support for vulnerable population to access medical or public health services, public health surveillance, monitoring, enforcement of public health orders, public communication efforts, enhancements of healthcare capacity, support for prevention, mitigation, and other services, enhancements to public health data systems, capital investments in public facilities to meet pandemic operational needs. Anybody know what that means? And don't worry about it being a rush. Well, what that actually translates to is that if you need to do some things with your bathroom, they have automatic flush valves, they have automatic paper towel dispensers, automatic soap dispensers, automatic hand sanitizers. You can do things to upgrade your facility. Any of your public facilities. You can upgrade your bathrooms. If y'all looked at, you want to do maybe an automatic front door so that people don't have to touch it. If it's some other things that you may need to do as far as updates to your air conditioning system, installation or improvements to current air conditioning system that may not be performing right, or either better ventilation, or either adding in a ultraviolet sensor that can kill.
We just updated all of this and just put the bacteria killer, whatever it is, the system in the air conditioning.
When did you do
Since the COVID started,
Was it?
Earlier in the summer.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It has to be for these funds, March 3rd forward. So
before then.
Yeah.
We didn't do everybody. Right. We got the AC unit down at the community house that we need to go through and get that replaced and make sure we keep standards.
you can improve it.
Police department's got some more air conditioning issues too.
Okay, you can be able to improve it. And that's things because we got to have fresh air circulating. So those things become long-term benefits, to the city.
Senior center didn't get that, did
Excuse me, I appreciate this, but I gotta go back to 5 to work.
Oh, no problem. Hey, I understand. Well, like I said, I have my number. You can call me.
I gotta do that real job.
Yes, sir. All right. And then, so next is looking at address negative economic impact. That's going to be that if you want to do stuff, help to support the community, maybe programs you want to offer, community programs, enrichment programs, something you can offer that on the negative economic impact, things that help to educate families about how to get back on their feet. You can also do something with small businesses. If you, some cities and counties have considered doing a revolving loan program. I would advise you kind of stay away from that unless you already have that system set up in place. If you already have a revolving loan program, that could be more headache than help because people are going to have to make sure you get the money, but then they have to also make sure they pay it back in time based on the range of when the funds have to be used. The next thing is you can do small grants to your local businesses. Like you wanted.
Wait, back up. Where are you on this list?
Address negative economic impacts. Yeah, small business, support small businesses. Yes, sir. That second bullet point.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
we do have a revolving loan Commercial Development Authority. So
Okay.
if we could add to that perhaps.
Yes, sir. You could be able to add to that. If y'all already have a system in place, you can be able to add to it and then be able to expand on it a little bit so that it helps businesses that maybe you can look at whatever y'all criteria may be that you currently have. And if you want to expand that to smaller businesses, you can be able to do that. And if you want to, if you have that opportunity, then you can turn around and you can do small grants. If you want to do just say not a revolving program, maybe you want to give businesses maybe a few $100s or $1,000 to do some things to get themselves better so they can handle the inflow of people, signage, different things of that nature. You can be able to do those grants. Also counseling services. You can get small business consultants or small business counseling services come in to help all your businesses. And you can use these fees to help cover costs. A lot of stuff is free, but if you do have any special costs, let's say you may have a retail specialist that you want to bring in and help your businesses that can do a workshop talking about how to pivot, you can be able to cover the cost of those things. Any other council service that would actually help businesses, or you can also bring in. Next thing, speed the recovery of impact industries. This right here actually talks about tourism, looking at in the travel and hospitality sector. You can use these funds to help to promote your city again. You can do videos, you can do promotional stuff, you can enhance your website, you can help, if y'all have a tourism department, you want to do some funding to help them, maybe they need to do some improvements or something of that nature, maybe to kind of draw tourists back in. It's on a case-by-case basis, but we can look at what things you can be able to do to help with tourism. If you want to actually do another tourism guide, or you want to do some tourism trails or something, you can do a variety of different things to bring people back, billboards, things that help with tourism. So if you want to put some ideas, on the interstate and pull more people in, you could be able to do that.
Mr. Scott,
Yes,
in the survey, it talked about being able to do, what is it, geo-tracking or texting?
Yeah,
Of that nature?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, geofencing. Will
Right.
we touch on that?
Yes, sir. If you would.
Okay. All right. Besides actually doing American Rescue Plan stuff, I have an extensive background dealing with using integration of technology, using social media, text marketing, geofencing. And the thing that we've actually saw a spike in was geofencing, where you put a fence around the city. So when people come in, it pings their phone and it may get a message on their phone that says, "Thank you for visiting city of Monroeville. If you interested in great food, click here." When they click on the link, it may take them to a city website page or your tourism page, and people can learn about your cities immediately by pinging their phone. The next thing is that, which we've had some cities really show a lot of interest in, was doing a text marketing. So when you actually come into the city, you'll see a billboard that say connect to Monroeville, and they'll pull out their phone and they may text Monroeville to 62794. So when they come in, you actually get their telephone number. So everybody who's a tourist who visits your area, you gather their cell phone number, send them a customized message that sends them to your tourism page or your welcome page on your website. And then you can be able to collect numbers and you can be able to push them toward places that can go to get tourism. It may say, here are the 10 places that you can visit in Monroe, and you send them to the shops, you send them to the restaurants, and you try to make them stay here and spend money. So that's one way of making it an economic engine. It's been proven that it can generate at least about another $400,000 in local economic impact. And then you add about, what's y'all sales tax? 10%. Yeah, so you're just looking at that you can bring in about another $40,000 in sales tax. And it's very simple because you don't have to actually bring people here. You just get people to stop who are already coming through here. Yes, ma'am.
Is that like that retail app, like when you can go into a mall and they'll be by a store in the mall and they'll start like giving you promotions that are in that store as you're walking by in that mall? It's called retail.
I'm familiar with that. It's similar principle, but it's not an app based. So you don't have to download nothing on your phone.
So could that be like a billboard on the interstate?
Yes.
That encourages people
to walk and come here? Yes. And it could be because text marketing is major. now. Text marketing and geofencing. And like I said, with geofencing, you don't have to download that. What it does, if you have like certain apps on your phone already, and you know, sometimes you're playing a game, you see a little message at the bottom of the screen, or you got certain little weather apps or something, you see a message pop up about something, that's where Monroe will be popping up. And with text marketing, it just allows you to put a number out there that says text to connect to Monroe. You haven't experienced life till you came to Monroe. And then people say, oh, mom, I want to text this in. So even if they don't get off the interstate, you still can connect with them, and you can always upcharge them to a souvenir shop. So I'm just giving you just some ideas of creative things you can be able to do.
So if we have like an event going on, like Kill a Mockingbird with Clay, or the city events, or any other entities that have events, they could like ping their phones and let them know.
That's right. That's right. And then on anything that when y'all have all these tourists that come to the city, most of the time they come here and they wander around. But it would be nice, and this is just another example of what you can do with tourism. You can have scavenger hunts that you actually send people to different places, and then they actually earn points as they go, but you can control where they go. If you go here, you earn points. You spend $10, $50, $100, you earn points. And then they could be able to redeem them locally or either through a national database system for prizes. So the thing is that just kind of help you think outside the box, that everything is not brick and mortar. With technology now, you can bring an additional $2 million here to your city just with people who already come that want to spend money. And so that's things you can explore through these funds to see how to make this generate additional money.
I think it's a great idea, because you think about it, our chamber and a lot of other entities are, they're not working on Saturdays, but this will work for them and keep it going while they're, because they work Monday through Friday a lot unless there's a special event, but it would help because it's like having a booth there, giving people all the information without having to have to. But the geofence only works when they're coming into Monroe.
Well, it depends on how you set it up, but most of the time it's like once you set a circle around, let's say a 5-mile radius. Let's say you can put multiple different geofences in there. You can have one that's out of scope, and you can put one that's small in the center. But once you actually cross over, then it just sends that message. Then it won't send another message as long as they're within. So it doesn't keep bothering their phone. It just say, oh, okay. Well, it can say welcome home for people coming home from work. But then once it actually, hits your phone, it won't hit it again. And it's not pinging, it's most times you just see it pop up. So yeah. So just kind of giving you some ideas so y'all can think out the box. Because to kill a mockingbird, think about everybody who come and take a picture. It'll be nice if they could check in. It'll be nice if they got a greeting every time they came, they checked in or text in, they can get a greeting. Welcome to Monroeville. And here are 10 things you need to do while you're here. And if they come, if I'm a tourist, even though I live in Alabama, but I'm still a tourist. So if I come, I have $300 to spend. It's up to you to get the money out of me. And if you give me enough opportunity to go to this restaurant, try this sandwich, go to that place, buy this thing, go to this boutique, then that money turns over to the community. But we can discuss that further. I just wanted to make sure, just kind of give you some ideas. The next thing is, if you actually had to lay off people because of the pandemic, or you had to cut your staff down, you can use these funds towards trying to rehire those slots back. So if you had lost officers, maybe because of pandemic or retiring or illness or whatever, and you need to actually try to fill those slots back, you can be able to use these funds towards helping to rehire those slots back. Any questions on that section?
Okay, I've got a question and an idea that I've been playing around with.
Okay.
So, and I'm throwing this out to see if some of this could work.
Yes, sir.
You have grants for small businesses. We have a lot of people with abandoned cars. And is there any way to work it so that we have a day or a week or whatever, where we work with a scrap car dealer and we can get people to donate us picking up their car, and we're basically giving them a grant for the towing fee. If we tow the car, they get the money for the car, and that would help like tourism, improve the social condition or the economic, the visualness of the city or some?
Would it go to individuals or go to business owners? The grant.
The individuals that have the cars, like cars parked in the backyard or something like that.
Now, that won't work because state law won't allow for you to necessarily give like federal state money to people like personal gain.
Okay.
So that won't be, that's why.
Well,
if-
what if
if-
we gave the money to the business for picking up the cars?
Now that could be an option if it's a part of your overall recovery plan. That could be an option. Now you can do many grants. You can't just straight give funds, but you can do grants to an individual. I want to make sure I do say that, but it's a very strict criteria as it relates to how you can be able to do it. But you just can't give money. But they said that you can give grants to individuals, but we more want to focus on the part of business. But we can actually look at it, you know, because if any ideas you come up with, the goal is that we want to make sure, give those ideas, let's research them, let's check with Treasury, let's see what qualifies. And if it doesn't, then we know, but if it does, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask. And we have like 3 areas that we consider. Green, which is clearly stated we can do. Oh yeah, green light, let's just roll. We got the red light, no, it's bad. We're gonna stay away from that. Then we got the yellow in the middle. The yellow in the middle is the danger there because it's on that borderline. If depending on how it's written up, it can be approved, you write it up, you don't give enough detail, it can be denied. So those are things that's in that center that we will check on. That will be one of to verify, is it something that can be done and why do we want to do it?
How can we?
That's right.
Work it?
Because see, if you just said that we were gonna move cars, they probably say denied. But if it's a part of your recovery plan and your beautification efforts and your cleanliness, and also maybe if people donate cars, the money you make off that scrap can help to do things to help with vaccinations or to help with improving the community is a part of a total plan, then that could be something they may review different.
So if we took the money from the scrap or however, and we said, okay, any of this money goes into a fund to improve our park system so that people have more opportunity to get outside and exercise and have a beautiful environment. Is that moving towards the right direction?
That could be, we'll have to look at that more detail. Yeah, and it'll just be writing up the justification for what's submitted. And, but I like this, keep thinking of ideas, that's what we want. I mean, it's a good idea now, that's a very good idea. And then it could be some ways to tie some things together. The next thing would be loss of revenue. If y'all actually had some areas with the city where you actually lost revenue, maybe you didn't have money that you expected to come in or normal to come in, but you actually lost funding. You can be able to actually replace lost revenue. And it's a formula for that we're working on with y'all. If you lost revenue in building rental or something of that nature, we can be able to look at that.
When you say lost revenue,
Yes, sir.
one of the big revenue generators for the city and the county, and I guess museum also is the telemarketer.
Mhm.
And usually when people come in and go to the restaurant, they go to the shop downtown and these places and spend money. So by that not occurring, you know, we lost the tax off of that revenue that we normally would have got.
Mhm.
So I can't replace revenue, but I guess we could replace the lost tax.
Yeah, and what it is, they have a formula that all we have to do is put the information in based on what did y'all have in your revenues for 2019 and 2018. And then based on that sets the baseline. And then we look at what 2020 is. And if you had loss in areas, then it allows for a formula to see how much of that you can calculate towards pulling money back over towards helping the community.
Lost revenue.
So like I said, just looking at it on a case by case basis, looking at lost revenue that impacts the city that came in. So everything trickles down, but we can be able to look at that. Next thing, which was really important, one I wanted to make sure to touch on, is that you got premium pay. Now, premium pay, it's 2 ways you can do premium pay. One is that you can decide to do a one-time payment to City employees, and I'm sorry, city councilmen, mayors don't count. Yeah, it don't count this time. But it's for city employees. You can be able to give a one-time payment to them to help them during the pandemic. And some cities have paid $1,000 for full-time, $500 for part-time. Some cities have did $600 full-time. They did $300 part-time. It just kind of depends, because some cities have a whole lot more money than what y'all have, but it's like I always tell any city, don't overdo yourself too much. Make sure that you do a little bit, and then you'll do a little bit, and then you can be able to always come back and do more later on. So don't try to overextend yourself too much. But you can be able to do something, and what you'll do is actually approve a resolution stating that each one of your employees is essential. Because it was last year that police officers and fire and paramedics were the only essential. But if your payroll people not here, who gonna pay? If you got your janitor, maintenance man not fixing stuff, how can you operate? So they changed it. So now it's where they list everybody who's essential, but it allows you as a city council and mayor to add additional people that you consider essential. So that's why you can pass a resolution that every employee is essential. And then you can determine whatever amount y'all may want to give. And then you can always give another payment, but it says one-time payment, so it is not reoccurring. And in that way, it just allows you where you can do something to help your employees.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
for instance, there's a big push on for getting people vaccinated, and they have different, means of promoting it. And is there, does this plan allow for my people to be vaccinated? I understand about the one-time payment, but is there any like a incentive payment that I can give them for being vaccinated, getting vaccinated, and I put a date on it for it to be accomplished?
We're actually researching that now to see what's the guidelines that you have to put in place to do that incentive. Some places have did, others say they did something like a lottery, like if you took vaccination, you can get a chance to get part of that, but with our state, they ain't on there. But we'll check on that as it relates to any incentives that you can give for your employees actually getting vaccinations or different things of that nature. So we'll be more than glad to check on that for you, Mayor. The next opportunity now, I'll speak about this at the end of the next opportunity as it relates to premium pay is going to be that if you have somebody who's making $10 an hour, and let's say you want to bump them up to $11 an hour, you can be able to use these funds to cover that additional dollar, up to a maximum of $13. It has to be for people who are under $13 an hour. Anybody who's over there don't qualify. But if there's people that you have at $10 and you want to actually bump them up to $11 or $12 or whatever, you can be able to do that with these funds.
And how far back would that have to go? Does that take place from March 4th?
Yes, sir, March 3rd of this year forward. And I know the mayor had talked about that y'all did a fee pay scale change. These funds could be able to cover the pay adjustments for anybody whose pay is under that $13 cap. And that extra y'all decided to do, you can actually be able to reimburse it against these funds. So y'all would actually make the payment. You can reimburse it back quarterly, but you can actually apply whatever that extra money you bump that person up to. You can be able to get that back from the American Rescue Plan Fund. So at least for 3 years, the American Rescue Plan Funds, if we budget it right, can cover that additional money. So it's not a weight on the city. Then after that period, the city can, will pick it up anyway.
13 is the whole rate or
$13 a cap. So
whole rate, 13 to something?
No.
10 to 13.
Yeah, 10 to 13.
Well,
So
actually, we'll go back and we actually have some people who are making less than $10 an hour. So whatever the difference is between that and up to 13, we make the adjustment in, we can apply for the difference.
That's right. If it's in, just so you know, any employees who making, when you look at their rate, they're making more than $13 out, they don't fall into this category of being able to benefit from this part of it. It'll just be for anybody whose salary is under $13.
Okay, so if the salary was $12 and we gave them a $2 raise and now they're making 14, but they started under 13, does that count?
Yes, that'd be fine. So I mean that dollar that's a dollar, not the $2, but the dollar of it would actually be,
Under 13.
yeah, that's right, would actually be able to be counted. Cause see, what it is technically is that dollar be covered up to the 13, and then in essence, y'all got another dollar over there. So then as long as it's on the 13, yes, sir. So that'll be able to help employees. And the only thing they just, with y'all is different because you said you bumped it up anyway. Some cities want to do this, but we encourage them to be very careful because if you bump somebody from 10, if y'all have made adjustment, but if you bump somebody from $10 to $12, then after 3 years, when the money is gone, they got to come back down to $10. That could be an issue. So that's why, like I said, some cities decided not to do it, but y'all were doing a pay increase anyway. So this ties in to be able to help. Yeah. Next thing is that water and sewage infrastructure. So if you actually had, because your water and sewage is separate from the city, right? Yeah, separate agency that do water and sewage. Okay, so if you wanted to, y'all could actually partner with them to do some things y'all want to do in the community and use some of these funds to help with it. But we would like to encourage you, don't use these funds to do a lot of water and sewer, because the next package is infrastructure. It is nothing but roads, bridges, sewer, water. That's its main focus. What you can use these funds, if you need to get an engineer or architect to go ahead and draw your plans up for everything that you want to do. That way, when the other money drop, we already ready. Because the next money is when it looks like it's gonna get approved maybe about another month or sooner. So when that money drop, it's gonna drop fast. So we gotta actually make sure that we're ready in that area.
Right, so with this, like, say we have a problem with our parking lot out here not draining correctly. Would this cover realigning the drainage so our parking lot and our building stays dry?
For stormwater, yes, it will. It will help with that. As long as, and you're looking at, you're saying maybe not paving the parking lot, but just handling the stormwater to be able to get it run off right.
Just like the drainage ditch or culvert or pipe or whatever.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. It could help with the cost of that.
Well,
And
let me, it feel like over here at the fire station, those drains that come out behind it, fire station actually gets a lot of water. And it's supposed to drain out that way. Can we use that money to redo these drains and enlarge them so the water get on out?
well, what we would actually recommend is you could, but since you don't have that much of money, either eat it up. But with the next package, which is infrastructure, you could already plan to do all that. But that's why we're saying get the engineer or architect to go ahead and use this money to lay the plan out. To do everything.
So, but I'm thinking community house drainage in front. So it's a smaller thing than what you're talking about.
You know, good question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get the engineering involved, there's a fee associated with it. So can you pay for the engineering plan out of these funds?
Yes, sir, you can. Yes, sir, you can. You can be able to cover. Because if you, let's say if they charge, I'm gonna say if they charge you $50,000, $100,000, but they lay your whole city out, all your drainage areas you have, all the areas that when it rains, it floods or whatever, but they lay the plan out. So when the next money drop was the infrastructure, and they say, oh, we got money for drainage. Because see, this is where most people gonna get messed up at. If they're gonna wait until the money comes out, then they're gonna try to get these engineers, architects to do the specs and the plans on it. Everybody's gonna be tired of it. So, but if you already got an engineer, architect already did the layout for everything, I'm talking about not just your stormwater, but your road, your bridges. They already got everything laid out on the cost. How much it costs to do this road? How much it costs to do this sidewalk or drainage with it? Then that way, when the money drops, you can just pull what you want and say, okay, we got what, $5 million. Okay, let's pull this project, and then you already ready.
Well, now,
Yes,
as
sir.
far as the engineering fee, we would go ahead and pay them. We would have to pay the engineers up front.
Yes, sir.
But now, can we get reimbursed whenever that money drops?
Well, this funding, since you already have your funding here, you have 700. No, you've already received $678,961.40.
So we could use this money for the engineer.
Yeah.
And then have the project ready, so when the other money drops.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. You can go ahead and fill out your plan and have everything laid out. And you can have, in here, you should have a shelf that has every road, the storm, water drainage you want to do, and you can have 20 different slots. And then that way, whenever the project drops, you're ready. And then that's the way we're being proactive to get ahead, because your larger cities, in meetings, your larger cities with those large populations got millions and millions, that's what they're doing. That's how they keep getting ahead of us. Because when the project money falls, they already got the projects ready. And before we didn't have the money to pay the engineers to do stuff, but now you can be able to do it. And if you got local engineers, you can make the money turn over in your community. And I got one thing of good news is that originally it was proposed by the federal government that you were going to get $1,060,000, $1,060,012. I'm glad to say that you actually got more money coming. You actually have a total that you're going to receive of $1,357,922.96. Yeah, so you actually got a difference of additional $297,910.96 that y'all actually gonna be getting. And what ended up happening is that when they started out, they had a baseline formula, but when they trickled down to the states, the formula changed and there was some other amendments made, and it was whatever because of your population and other factors, you was able to actually get an increase. Some people went down, y'all actually went up.
That was because I filled out the questionnaire.
That's right. Yeah, so, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. You can go ahead and develop your plan and everything. And that way you'll be ready. So to the good, you almost got additional $300,000. And what it is that it's broken up into two payments. One payment for $678,961.48. This year you receive, you're gonna get another payment for that same amount. It'll be next year in June. And then there's certain reports that we have to do to make sure we put you online and get your money next year so that you won't have any problem. There's a report coming up. I was wanting to do August 31st, but y'all don't have to do that one because of your city size. But October 31st will be the next report that has to be done. Yeah. And if you need to do, like we said, culverts, storm waters, aprons, different things that they at the end of the road that's washing out, you can do some things, but it'd be better to just go ahead and plan your whole city out. The next thing is our broadband infrastructure. If you see you want to do some improvements to broadband, either adding maybe Wi-Fi downtown in the square, you want to have where people come here. Now they can be able to actually get online, pull up the internet, get good internet service, and you can set the internet service up when they when you go to a hotel. When you go to the internet, the hotel page pops up. They can have a page that pop up. They have to put their email address and their name in there, and then they can go to the internet. And in that way, you can promote all the things you want to promote. Yes, sir.
On that. If I'm not mistaken, y'all correct. Do we not have a Wi-Fi downtown once before? And we couldn't get up because they said county employees were kept the thing loaded.
We'd have to re-engineer it with access points where you want it.
Yeah. So you can be able to do that. You can. Oh wait a minute. What did y'all just vote on? Y'all voted on some contract for doing something.
Yeah, it was for fiber optic lines coming into City Hall and police department.
Okay, y'all redoing line?
Yeah.
Okay, they doing the way y'all getting better service so that you can have a better system to be able to connect to the internet.
So the issue that came up was with our service.
Mhm.
So we're trying to migrate to the Amazon Web Services.
Okay,
And the bandwidth on the copper was only like, you might understand this better than I do. There's like 20 over 20. When going to fiber optic, we go to like 100 over 100. So we get 5 times the speed. So that's money that we do.
okay. So what's the cost of it?
The
760.
yeah, is got it right here. Like, but right now that service would be $780 for the city hall, and I think $539 for the police department. So you looking at look right at 1,300.
Okay, and that's gonna be continuous, right, after that? Well, you can actually be, since y'all doing an upgrade, you can be able to use some of these funds to cover the cost of the upgrade. Yeah, because see, this is a public facility, so if you got better internet service here, and you put a couple Wi-Fi routers outside, where kids, if they need to get on the internet, and you can pivot this, what you say you gonna also do it at the fire department? Police station, yeah, they can put some Wi-Fi outside, yeah, you can use some of these funds to reimburse the cost of that too. Yeah, so I mean, my biggest thing is let's think outside the box.
What was that problem we had during the hurricane when we couldn't get emergency calls out? So that was 911.
Yeah, that's 911.
Yeah. You were.
Okay. So, yeah, so that could be an option. You can also do some other broadband stuff you want to do, but there's so much broadband money around. I've already found maybe possibly some organizations that may want to partner, maybe working with the city to help y'all with, they got many grants. We have the State Broadband Association, they got grants that they can help with broadband. There's so much money in state now broadband, so don't you really want to use all your money for this, but you can actually get an estimate, get that same company or another company to come in and do what they need to do to put broadband better in your whole city. What they need to do to make your city a Wi-Fi hub, just put Wi-Fi everywhere. And then they can project all that because that's gonna be part of the infrastructure also. And then next thing is that if you have other equity focused services, that's in the bottom left-hand corner. That'll be communities that may have health disparities. You can also do additional things in communities, maybe medium, low income areas, programs. You can do after school programs. You can do after school programs in the city as a whole. You can also do other programs to help with healthy living, nutrition, different things of that nature. So anything to promote healthy childhood environment. So you can do promotional things, cover those costs. And then also just looking at different census tracts that may need extra help, maybe trying to get them to maybe do vaccinations. You can do some campaigns in that area to get that going. And like one thing that's actually ineligible, I'm not sure if y'all have a pension program, but you can't use these funds to put money in a pension. And that's really, really about the only thing that really limits you the most. And maybe, like I said, may not be used to offset with American Rescue Plan about net tax revenue. So it's like we got to look at whatever your loss may be, but it can't necessarily be connected to normal taxes that you get from the government. I mean, or that you may get from the state, but this on a case by case basis. Yes, sir.
On the equity focused services, educational disparities. If we have a program that targeted, so the city of Monroeville doesn't own our school system, the county school system. But if we had some educational program for children who live in the city, like a summer program that was an educational thing, like a booster shot of education for kids during summer, could that be kind of sort of covered in that?
If you want to do something maybe to, like I say, education oriented, because that complements the school system,
Right.
You can do that. And also it gives like extra activities for the kids to kind of get them back, talk about healthy environments. And then also you can educate them about health in general. So as long as we add a little spin about health and eating right, nutrition, make sure you watch the body, keep your family members safe. So yeah, you can incorporate a lot of that. So what department you go? I mean, what department you work in?
Oh, I just came in off the street.
No, he didn't.
I'm the compliance officer.
Oh, okay. Good idea. Okay, so those are just some of the different areas, and I want to just say, if you think as we look through this assessment, and you actually went through and actually gave a lot of information on there, and like I said, we're going to use this as a building block or foundation for building a recovery plan, because most people not going to. I got a question. I got football fans. Anybody like football sports? anything, or either lady when they come to cooking. You know, if you want to win a game, every successful football team I've seen, a basketball program or program in general, they had a game plan. Most cities and towns are not going to develop a game plan. They just going to get the money. Oh, we just going to throw it in there. Let's just spend it. And then the money is going to go like that because there are so many guidelines and even businesses have to have DUNS number. If y'all decide to do like using a thing, they got a DUNS number. You got to have organization, nonprofits. If y'all want to partner with nonprofits, do things in the community, they got to have DUNS number. They got to have some things in place and guidelines. But if you got a game plan, the state of Alabama has $2 billion. $2 billion. Man, it just makes me feel good saying it. They're going to have session in the fall. I was talking to the mayor. If you know your state representative, you know your senator, you need to be in their ear. You need to be making sure that you tell them that you want your fair share. Because they're going to, that money is going to come, it's going to get to you some kind of way. Either that money is going to go through DOT, ALEA, it's either going to go through the health department, it's either going to go through a DECA, but the money is they got to spend it. And the thing is that the representatives, they may end up having some money to do stuff in their district. I don't know. I'm not saying that they will, but if they gave each representative or senator some money to do stuff in their district, like projects, you know, $2 billion goes a long way. But why you can't ask for $5 million or $10 million?
Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
When you were talking about like these equity focused services, I know it's been a long time, but there used to be summer programs out there that offered job opportunities for kids who were in school. And can some of this money be used to fund a program like that?
You want to have it where the city would set the program up and you would use this money to maybe cover the cost of those young people working in local businesses.
Whether it's in local businesses or, well, when I was in the program, which was some time ago, we actually went out and we were able to clean certain city properties, even went out and there were some places that had cemeteries that the upkeep was down on. We were able to address those issues and this type of thing.
Well, we can look at, because it may fall up under the category of that hiring students are vital towards the revitalization of the city. And if you hire students, you need to increase your workforce because maybe you don't have it and you want to make sure that you get people working in the community so that they can be able to support you rebuilding your community. That can be an avenue because they talk about if you do have needs of services, you can be able to hire additional people. And those people are then limited, that it has to be an adult. It can be, young people or something. Maybe we say the category maybe 16 or something above, but we can actually look at that and see. And then the reason it has to be so particular everything because we got so many federal guidelines. And if you're dealing with students, we got to look at and make sure that we meet their requirements related to federal guidelines, equal employment and everything of that nature. Yeah. Any more questions on that? All right. And last but not least, I'm not going to, like I said, bore you with all the assessment information, but I was just going to say that it was very helpful with having everybody completed. And we have council member group. I'm just gonna go through the names we have. So if anybody didn't do it, we need to make sure they do it. We have Councilperson Bruton. We have Anthony Thomas. We have Mayor Charles Andrews. We have Amanda. We have McDaniels. We have Larry Hance, council member.
Hines.
Okay. We have Sandra Atkins. We have Tamika Hunt, code official. We have Director of Public Works, Fire Chief, and we have, I think it's what, Mandy Strong?
Armstrong.
Chief Armstrong. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because we wanted the title there, but I didn't see it. But I'm sorry about that, Chief. Yeah, and so those are 12 people we have so far that's actually completed. Now, if anybody else who have not completed, we need them to do it. Because that helps us with pulling everything in, because we don't want somebody to say later on, I didn't give my input, so we want everybody to be able to have input. So anybody's on Zoom, If y'all haven't did it, we want to make sure we get you a copy or a link so that you can be able to do this survey. It don't take long, about only maybe 8 minutes. Yeah, but it's going to help with the development of your city. And then what you're going to become then is a shining example to everybody else that we were ready, y'all handled. And the next thing that we're going to actually do as it relates to this total project is that we're also going to be doing a press release that we want to send out to press across the state, just talking about that y'all are glad for your funds, but want to make sure that y'all ask for more funds. And then the next thing is too, is that if at some point when you may have an event, we schedule them to do some kind of press conference, you know, and then the goal is just to kind of let people know that what you're doing here in the city. And then the next meeting that we're going to actually look at doing is going to be pulling in stakeholders. This meeting here is in-house for the city, the department heads, everybody to get together. But we want to do one with stakeholders because I was going to ask you a question. Can anybody tell me maybe 2 organizations here in your county that got American Rescue Plan funding? Anybody? Can you tell me 2 other organizations, not municipalities, but 2 other organizations that actually got funding? No. Yeah. Oh, I thought Chief, I thought you were standing up to give me a hand. All right.
I don't think the college, because the kids are allowed to take 2 free classes this semester and next semester.
Yeah.
It's not like courses.
Okay, that's one. The college, they did get a bunch of money. They got a ton of money. I like to keep it real. They got money. Who else got some money?
School board.
Hold on. We got 2. You said that y'all gave me 3 now. So you said community action. That would be correct. Because I used to serve on the board of community action. They actually got money to help people with assistance with their light fees. Because they have a program, mortgage assistance, utility assistance. That's exactly right. And you said the mayor, school system. Who you think got the most?
The first one?
School system. School system got a ton of funding.
Who's
So
the
we need to
first
make sure we pulling everybody into the table to make sure that that money stays in your community. I'm not sure exactly how much your school system got, but the money came in 3 waves. They got money last year. They got money beginning of this year. Millions. I'm not talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Millions of dollars. They got millions first of all this year, and I think they just got the next wave of funds, which was more than what they got the first time. So did y'all know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they got money. So everybody has money. Think about it. You can take, if it may be with everybody's money, and maybe let's say $20 million, and your county has money. County got a bunch of money, but let's say it's $20 million in the county. How many times that money gonna turn over? How many business owners can do the work that need to be done? Because the schools are gonna do improvement. We got any contractors here in the city?
Yeah.
Okay, you got technology folks, you got computer guys, you got folks that can do other work. Let's turn that $20 million over 5 times in our community before it leaves. So I just wanted to just throw it out there to you as far as let you know that you're not the only one that got money. You got a little money, but your county got more money than you. Your school system got more. The health department has funds. DHR has funds. Community action has funds. You know, everybody got money. So we want to have a stakeholder meeting to pull everybody to the table and say, let's pull our money together. Let's work together. You know, why would somebody get contractors not from here when you can hire some local contractors? Why we can't make a local contractor where the money turn over? Because who's he gonna hire to work? Local people.
Yeah, but you know, getting everybody at the table at one time, the heads of all those people who got money, that would be a really prudent thing to do. And then say, we're working on this, you work on this, and we join our forces, so to speak.
Because see, like school systems got money for technology, for broadband internet access. Y'all want to do broadband internet access, you pool that money together, now you can do more. And like with some, like the county, if we are ahead of the curve, the county hadn't figured out how they're gonna spend their money yet. So if we already come to the table with an ideal, then y'all would be a leader to say, we need you to give us about 500,000 over here. This side's gonna help the community. So just kind of give you some ideas, and I want to make sure I touch on it, but I'll entertain any questions you may have.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
I saw an email that said that I think ADECA had roughly about $7 million returned of COVID money that had not been spent. And I guess they would go back and offer you an opportunity to apply for a grant for that.
That's right.
Okay. So as we move into that, are there going to be certain guidelines? I imagine it's not going to be the same as it was for the American Rescue Plan, but we'll have to go back and be related to the guidelines that were provided on the first round.
Yeah, that money that they have, that $7 million is, it's gonna be under a little different guidelines. And if you actually interested in applying for that, that'll be something that we'll actually talk to you about doing. They're gonna open that up in, I think, end of September. They got a workshop coming up, but everybody's gonna be going after those funds, and we can be able to discuss with you too about assisting y'all with those funds. And then the thing what it is that those funds are a little bit different, but we can help you come up with a project that you can do. And let's say you may say you want $200,000-$300,000 to do some stuff, upgrading your technology, maybe doing all your computers in your whole building, or either upgrade your building or something of that nature. There's so many options you can use that for. And that money is more geared towards infrastructure. I mean, not infrastructure, but like capital improvement projects. So you can actually do more build out stuff with it.
Roofing?
You might be able to do that. If we can connect that to that. The roofing is a problem because of the water leak on the air conditioning. It causes poor qualities of the air of people breathing.
Wait a minute. You know our problem for leak on the air, you just named the problem that we have.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it. Because if it leak on there, then it causes moisture, then it causes mold, then it becomes a problem. So now you breathe and circulate mold. So yeah, so it could be something along those lines you want to do. So I mean, we got no problem. All we got to do is just tell your story. And so yeah, so we'll actually, if that's something that y'all interested in doing, just like it's gonna be other grants coming down the pipeline. I just found out about another one that's 750 million. Then they got some more money that's 500 million. Money is everywhere. So.
Now, what about like at our shop, remodeling it because it was built in the 80s, early 80s, in the break room, my office. And you know, you're talking about air conditioning units. We have a window unit in the break room and a window unit in my office. But if we put like a central unit, then I would take care of both of them. So, you know, we'd have better air in there, but I'm like just totally redoing the bathroom and everything. Would you know, that money to cover all of, you know?
You can be able to use, we can look at either using some of these funds to actually, like I said, get the specs on it and depending on the cost.
Well, I think they're going after the DECA.
Oh, the DECA, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. You can look at, because that money there allow for you to do more capital improvement projects.
Well, you said you could use money for that, like the hands-free stuff, so
Yeah.
that you have to upgrade toilets,
That's right.
hand dispensers, soap dispensers, so that would get you.
Well, see, I think about, you know, doing it all in one project, trying to do it through ADEC.
Okay. And see, like I say, either doing that or either doing it through infrastructure, because that still could be a part of your infrastructure of your building. Because your building, anything that with infrastructure, a lot of times is going to talk to it as a capital project. So that could be building or something like that. So see, when you got one of the units in, that still ain't circulating the air. Yeah. So you can actually get like those units that you see the ones you see in where you mount them at the top and then it has a unit outside. Yeah. So you can do something like that or do something for the whole building. It just depends on the main thing.
Now, we need to go ahead and do a plan on it too, so it'd be like a ready to go thing.
Yeah, I would say anything that y'all actually want to do, go ahead and let's start. The first thing I would say with you would be to start writing out what your problems are. Take some pictures of what your problem is, because if you need help developing a plan, we can help you develop a plan. Because like I was just saying with the roof, I know most of the roof mess up, it's leaking on the air conditioning, then it's leaking the roof, then mold, and it's just one problem after another, and we can help you put it together. Okay. And then, yeah, that's it.
I thought about getting with a local contractor and get him to get that quote and all on, doing what we need.
That's right. Now he can do that. Now, say for instance, if it's certain money that's gonna tie in, you can use your contractors to give you an estimate, but it's just for you to know what the estimated price is. Because depending on the certain amount of price of money or something like that, you want maybe that contractor to be able to bid on it if it's a large project, but you can just get a rough estimate of, is it gonna cost $20,000 to do the work?
Like a budget quote.
That's right, that's right.
Now, would we have to have a architect to actually draw the plans up before we ask for the money? You know, go ahead and get all of that drawn up?
I was gonna say, what's the city codes? Do y'all require like architects or engineers on remodeling or improvements?
If it's over, the building's over 2,500 square feet and it requires an architect, or it's a public occupancy, like a restaurant. So the shop building would be over 2,500 square feet. So that would require.
Well, not the whole thing, you know, the whole shop together would be, but not exactly where the remodeling would be.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
Find out.
one other question that you brought up roofs.
Yes, sir.
And I got the fire chief on. The roof at the fire department,
The renovation.
we have a constant leak over there.
Mhm.
And we've gone through and done some things to try and repair that. But it is actually leaking into the building. And we've already got a quote and everything on what it would cost to stop that leak. So would that be eligible for these ADECA funds?
Yeah, that could be eligible. They haven't came out with the criteria, but the criteria for the funds that, what it was, each county actually received funds that they could use to do projects in that county. They gave each county, based on your population, your county received, I think, $200,000. And they had a certain period of time to use the money. So some counties didn't use all their money that they got appropriate. So that's where that fund came from. So I'm familiar with the guidelines on it because some counties worked with municipalities to be able to let them use some of the funds. They gave some of the funds to the municipality. So the guidelines for this, if it follows the same scope of it, it allows for more like, it's not like these funds. It gives you a wider parameter to do some other projects.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. What about, extending, I guess like parks for being healthy and getting people outside?
Doing what with the park exactly?
Like putting in a pole barn, like a 40 by 80 pole barn, so people, you can kind of have stuff to supplement.
More or less of a gathering place, you know, kind of like a public facility where people can have like reunions or something like that. And also, you know, the city could use it for different things.
Now, for these funds, since you only have 1.3, I would say it won't allow you for a new bill. Now, with the funds that may come from ADECA, y'all apply for recapture funds. If you decide to do a building that, like one mayor did, they built a building and they made it a part of their COVID, like COVID safer space that people can congregate in a safer area space-wise. They added in bathrooms, they added in air conditions into the bathrooms, and they had a COVID room that they can actually have drive-through testing and vaccination. And that was actually funded last time by COVID funds. So, I mean, by these funds that they recaptured. So that could be an option. Yeah. And then there's anything that could be an option, just the biggest thing, like one thing that they actually would do is that if I came in and said, I want to buy a generator, the mayor said he want to buy a generator, and we sent up, he want to buy a generator. They would say, or may say deny. But if you buy the generator because you want to have mobile vaccination and testing sites, and you want to be able to put information out in the community, approved. So it's how you explain out what's the multiple uses for it. Now you may use it to help the police department too, but your primary purpose may be for you to have mobility. And if a storm happened, you can be able to, let's say if a storm came through and y'all need to set up tents and have generators and lights, you can be able to pass out masks, pass out sanitizer, pass out other stuff that people need to keep themselves safe.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
For about 20 years, people in this community have been working hard to get a 4-lane highway coming in here. Looking forward to the infrastructure money that's coming. Of course, it'll be a state DOT type project between here and Evergreen. But
yes.
How can we, do you have connections we could get our priority increase there
Well, most certainly. I'm glad you said that. But the thing I would say is, it'll be a couple players that we can bring to the table. Because DOT is gonna have money. The main thing is, do y'all have a relationship with the DOT person in y'all area, and the local person that's over there area?
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, okay, so
I've been
if we
talking
got
to
a
them
good
today.
relationship with that person, get them, have they already looked at the feasibility study on?
Yeah, they've done some engineering and.
Okay. So I would say there's two ways you can be able to work this. One is gonna be, we get the DOT person on our side, that he wants to support this project, he look at the feasibility study on it. The second thing that we do is we get our legislators on our side as it relates to giving you some infrastructure dollars. And then when we write up the proposal or put together a proposal to them so they can take it and go with it, it'd be that you're not just doing this road because what does this road connect you? It connects between what and what?
I-65, Monroeville.
Okay, so you're looking at that, if you actually able to get this road fixed, it becomes a way for y'all to have emergency services to get to the interstate if anything happens. And then if there's anything that happens, so it's a natural disaster, you could be able to get water in and out, and this is gonna become a hub or a centralized communication station for EMA. You see how we tie it in? So, and then the other goal would be, who is our congressional person?
Here, Jerry Call.
Okay, Jerry.
Federal.
Yeah, federal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry Call.
Because it used to be, was it Bonner?
No,
that
it
used to be-
was,
Used to be somebody else.
he ran for Senate, down out of Baldwin County. Burn, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bradley Burn.
So the goal, I was gonna say with the congressional side, is that would actually help us a lot to be able to get them, because that money, that's coming in through infrastructure. Now, this past money that we just actually had, the representatives and the Senate has some discretionary money that they can actually do towards projects. So I'm looking at the same thing gonna happen with the infrastructure money. And then we need to make sure that this becomes a priority on that list of them doing the road. And if they go ahead and delegate the money now, even though it may take time to finish it, they can go ahead and start it. So, in any way we can help and get leverage to it, I'll be more than glad to do anything. The other thing is we have money through Delta Regional Authority. Their money is totally, y'all familiar with them? Okay, Delta Regional Authority is another government agency that targets and works with areas like y'all area. They have Appalachian region and they have the Delta Regional Authority. And Delta, it will allow you money for infrastructure, roads, bridges, water, so as long as we can show job creation. And that can actually help with the economic boost in this area.
Mayor Oglesby's.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I'll be more than glad to do whatever I can, use every resource I have. I work with Congresswoman Sewell's office. I still have a great relationship with them. Any way that I can help to leverage some resources for that road, because if it's fixed, because I came in that way. I mean, you can't. There's only so much traffic in here, and all these 18-wheelers and everything. So I'll be glad to see what can we do to help that come along. And any other questions? Any other comments? Anybody on Zoom? Yeah, like somebody got a question on that. Yes, not. But I was gonna say is that the main goal is that for us to just help you with a recovery plan, and it's gonna be a living document that's gonna continue to grow, because this money you have until 2024 to use it. But with this infrastructure package, it's probably gonna be at least a 5-year wonder with it. And then they're talking about another package that's gonna be American Family, which is gonna be geared towards families, family programs. If you know anybody who may be looking at, who have a daycare or want to start a daycare or start some kind of kid-oriented program or something, that could be something they really need to start looking at now. So they can be ready, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff there with childcare, after-school tutorial programs, other math camps, different things to help our kids. So, any other questions for me? Yeah, it's supposed to be American Family Relief Plan. It's supposed to be just stuff to help build families and give families support services that they need. Yeah. Like I said, it's more codes and more requirements that's coming up, but we handling all that for you to make sure you do everything correct. And just again, just thank, the council and the mayor and department heads for working along with us, but we're gonna get everything in line so you have a game plan. And then we're gonna take into effect all the different things we talked about and then put those things together and see what qualifies, what don't, and then we can continue to grow with it. And you don't have to use all your money this year. That's the thing I want to tell you. If you use some of your funds and you want to carry it over so you can do a bigger project next year, you can do that. Yeah. So if there's no more for me, I turn it back over to you, Mayor. And there's any other questions, just ask me and I'll be here.
Well, I just want to say, I want to thank everybody for participating. I think we had some good thoughts. I think we were made aware of some things that we can do now that we were not aware of. And I agree with Mr. Scott. I know in the past, when there had been economic recovery, that when the money came available, they did ask for shovel-ready projects. And I think that's one of the things that we need to go through and focus on is preparing this stuff and doing what we need to do and have it on the shelf. And when the door opens, we're prepared to go ahead and submit. But there's several things here that I think that we have put on the back burner that with these funds we're going to be able to address and move it forward. And at the same time, I think one of the things that will help Monroeville really shine is, number one, how we take care of our employees, and number two, how we get out there and we take care of our citizens. So, Mr. Scott, I thank you. If we have no more questions, then, we'll go ahead and adjourn the work session.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bring me in the morning.
Some of the families have been setting up a farm market, and we're going to have to set up chairs and stuff. And you want to space them out?
Yeah, tell me, I may have to run in the morning, but just wait, I'll be right there, or you can get Anthony to unlock.